everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. No movie this week, they're saving them all for later in December, so let's just jump right into the games. I am still playing Luigi's Mansion 3, and I'm still enjoying it, despite the controls occasionally getting in the way of that. Because I don't mind, like, it's one thing when in a game like this where you're in a room and there's like a puzzle and you have to figure out how to get through that door and what am I supposed to do, because Luigi only has a certain number of abilities. Do you vacuum? Do you blow? Do you use the light? Do you use your little jump boost thing? Do you use Gooigi? You know, like, there's a limited variety of ways to solve a problem, so eventually you'll hit upon the solution and be able to do it, which is fine. It's a completely other thing when you know what you need to do, but the controls are fighting you and making it really difficult for you to actually do it. Like that piano boss I mentioned in the last episode was super annoying because I couldn't vacuum up the bomb and get it aimed correctly before he would be off and running, and like you had a very narrow window of time in order to aim and fire the bomb. And I would 9 times out of 10 miss, so it took me a really long time to do it, and it was kind of annoying. The next boss, this medieval knight, was fine. Once I figured out how to do it, what I needed to do, I was actually able to do it, because he had a big target on his chest, and as long as I was pointing Luigi in towards him, the plunger just sort of auto-aimed to his chest, and it was super fine. So that was really easy, once I figured out what I needed to do. Because it sometimes takes me a little while, which is why I always make sure I have a couple of extra golden bones on me, so that if it takes me an entire life to figure out what he's doing and what I need to do to attack him, the little ghost doggy can bring me back to life, and then I can just go do it, without having to restart. But then, later, I'm doing perfectly fine, everything's delightful. I have run into a couple of times where it's like a big room and you need to do, like there was one where I needed to split Luigi and Gooigi apart, and one was at the top and one was at the bottom, so it's giving you the whole screen. And on the portable screen it was kind of hard for me to see what I was doing because everything's so small, and I was getting frustrated and I couldn't figure out what I needed to do, and I was like, let me just put this away and I'll play it. I'll put it back on the TV when I get home, and then I'll have it on the big TV, and then I'll be able to see better, and then I can figure it out. So it's happened a couple of times where the portable screen is just a little small for me to be able to see what I'm doing and figure out where to go. But overall it's been fine. Except for I just got to a room where you have to bounce on these big mushrooms, these bouncy mushrooms, and you have to use them to platform around. And I'm not really sure why they put platforming in a game without actual platforming controls, because it's super frustrating. And that was another one where I was getting frustrated. I was like, I'm going to have to finish this on the TV because, like, I don't know what I'm doing, and this is getting annoying. But I am still playing it. I haven't gotten so frustrated that I put it down. Because that's the only thing that'll really make me put down a game, is either if it gets super boring and I just don't care anymore, or if it gets super hard and frustrating and then I just want to snap my controller in half. That's when I have to put the game down and go play something else, because games are meant to be fun. They are not meant to be stressful. Well, I mean, okay, some survival horror games are supposed to be stressful, but that's part of the charm of those particular games. It's a different kind of stress I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about with that frustration. Because this week I actually played some No Man's Sky because I needed some stress relief. And that is a very lovely game to play that's just relaxing, and you walk around a lovely planet if you can find one. But even a desert planet can be beautiful in its own way. They had just released another update, the Synthesis update, which has a bunch of bug fixes and quality of life improvements, and it's a lot of little things, some of which are good and I appreciate, and then others, like, I'll never notice or deal with, because they they added a bunch of stuff to the terrain manipulator, and I'm just like, I don't use that. Just like when they do stuff for building bases, I'm like, I don't care, I don't do that. I just explore. But they did add some like first-person viewpoints to TV playing, and then they added some VR improvements. They added the ability to ride creatures, which I have not yet done, but I am excited to try that in first-person VR mode. That'll be a lot of fun. Because I remember being disappointed playing it in VR and trying to feed a creature and ride it and going, why can't I do this? I didn't realize that it wasn't available in VR. I thought I was doing something wrong. But the other thing that they did was they added photo mode in VR, which is interesting, but I don't know how much I'm going to actually use it, because in practice it's not super helpful. Using move controllers is super unintuitive, and using the actual DualShock is fine, because then it's the same buttons and everything works and you know where everything is. And you can manipulate, you know, the lens and the time of day and all that sort of stuff like you can in regular photo mode. But the problem is that it's taking a picture of whatever you're looking at. So if you go like you have to frame it by like looking directly at what you want, which is kind of cool because you can kind of go like this and look up, and then you take a picture and you're like, oh, but that's not quite what I wanted. I wanted it to be a little higher. So then you have to go back and look a little higher and then take that picture. But so like it's not as good as the regular photo mode because you don't have as much control over like the framing and positioning of the camera. So that can get a little frustrating. Also, when you do take a picture, it's square. That's your frame because it's VR. And it's a smaller file size, and the resolution is lower because the VR resolution is lower than the actual game. It's not like they can suddenly take a high-res picture in VR. You know, that wouldn't actually make any sense. I don't know how you can pull that off, but I don't know any technical things. So I don't really know how much I'm going to use photo mode in VR. Like, I actually think if there was something I really wanted to take a picture of, I would, like, pause the game, or I'd save the game, turn off the VR headset, and then go start it again on the TV, maybe. Because the other thing is when I was taking a picture in VR, I noticed it didn't... Usually when you take a picture, when you enter photo mode, the whole world pauses. So you can take a picture of a creature, and it pauses, and you can, like, move around it. But in VR, when I went to take a picture, like, the clouds were still moving, a spaceship flew across the sky, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, it should pause it so that you can get that moment in time in the photo. So that was sort of annoying. But I do still love playing No Man's Sky in VR. It's super soothing, and it's relaxing. It's just so immersive and wonderful, and you just... it's a good stress reliever. Because, you know, not a lot of games are. So, that's it. Short one this week, because like I said, I haven't been playing much. I've made my Christmas list. We'll see what games I get for Christmas, and if I can finish Luigi's Mansion in time. Probably not, but we'll see. That's going to get complicated. So, come back next episode. I'll have seen a movie. I'll have more games to talk about, and I'll chat. Well, we won't chat, but I'll talk and you'll listen, because that's how this works. It's not interactive. But talk in the comments, because I like that. That's fun. Then it's a little interactive. See ya! Bye!